week this week? And she said, oh yeah, I'll do it. So, and she was born in the year 1990. So you can figure how old she might be. And she is still first year, and she's very interested in public health. And what she likes to do during free time is she plays tennis, and she played really good piano and for almost 6 years. And what else? And she likes to bet, like most of the girls like to eat snacks or things like that. Okay, so all right. Anyways, let's welcome Jessica for
Nice intro, Jerry. Drum roll.
And you gotta announce the name.
Oh, okay. The name is not the summer teacher. The name is actually Jon Sommers. So I was involved in a business program over the summer, and I heard about this this guy that had a Harvard master's degree in business, and that was my first impression of him. Later on, I walked into the classroom, and this guy had white hair and a white mustache, but most of all, he was full out dressed in business attire, and that made a really good first impression on me. I felt like I should respect this guy and take him seriously. On the first day, he presented us with an exercise. He told all of us to close our eyes and imagine what we wanted to do in 10 years. After that, we shared our experiences, and he told us that he had already accomplished all of his own goals. So what he had imagined was for all of us to succeed and accomplish our own dreams, and I thought that was really touching. So later on that first day we met him, he proceeded to tell us his life story. He was born in Norway, and he came to America as a skinny boy who barely knew English. He worked at a gas station. He was really poor, so even when it was prom and guys were asking girls out, he was working at the gas station. And then later on, he graduated from college, and he said he met the most beautiful person in his life, which was his wife. Yeah. Later achievements, he worked for Sony for a bit, and he became the CEO of some companies and was also a venture capitalist. From what I know, he's really successful because he's really wealthy. I don't quite know how many companies he worked for or which companies he worked for. That might just be a testament to his humility, because he didn't really explicitly say, I've been at this, and this. He was there just to teach us, which I also thought was really touching, because he had taken the time to teach when he could have been going on a vacation instead between his two projects. So our classroom was where he chose to be for that summer. And in the classroom, I observed a lot of things about him. First of all, he was really good at listening. He had a lot of patience. The youngest person in our class was 10 years old. The oldest was like me. So he was able to listen to all of us, and even guest speakers we had, who had like been working for like 30 years or so, he was also able to identify with them. And because he was able to respect our time and our ideas and our own thoughts, he didn't impose his thoughts on us. He would listen to us and then give us feedback, but he didn't expect us to follow it. And this gave him the ability to connect with many different people. He also had integrity. He had his own set of values and morals, and he didn't conform to what other people thought or expected of him. So later on, he found out that there was some corruption going on at the head of our program. And eventually he got fired because, toward the second week of the program, because he didn't agree with her ideas, and he felt the way he was teaching was the right way, and that, a lot of other things going on, he stuck up for one person who was fired also because of those beliefs. So it's a little controversial, but I thought he did the right thing. And most of all, I learned value humility from him. And this only worked also because he established himself as an authority, and he gave us respect and honesty, and was not only self-interested. If he had only been just humble, I think it wouldn't have been such a big impact as if he had all of these characters combined. And they all led us to trust him as a person. And one thing he really emphasized was he gave us his advice. In all of his years of business, he had observed that a lot of people that were not released. Okay. Okay. A lot of people that in their startups had failed, in their startup companies had failed because the CEOs were too confident or too arrogant, and they weren't willing to work with their employees. So, yeah, I thought and that was him. So that is Jon Sommers. Do I still have time? Yeah. Okay. And there is someone else a little different. She was interested in becoming CEO, but she didn't become a CEO. She immigrated to America just to have 2 kids. She could have been a CEO at China, but she decided to come here. And she started with nothing, and one of the greatest things I learned about her was her strength. So this is my mom, obviously. She was my brother and niece firm advocate because anytime we had any problems, the brick walls were nothing. So, for example, my brother's schedule was messed up freshman year of high school. She went to the counselor twice. The counselor was scared of her, so then she went to the assistant principal. Eventually, she went up the ladder, and then because she kept going to see him, eventually my brother got the schedule that he needed. Got put into like biology and English and all that. So basically all the brick walls in life didn't faze her. Also very enthusiastic. She didn't really care what other people thought, so she would act very unrestrained. Sometimes I'd be embarrassed, but at the same time I'd admire her, but I haven't told her that yet. She was also involved with APOC, Asian Pacific American Legal Center, and this organization works with parents who want to present some kind of legislation in order to help the students in high school. So maybe to increase the number of counselors, things like that, etc. So she got involved in that for my brother's sake. And even though she's normally a leader, it seems like would lead a lot of people, she's not really leading a lot of people, but she's been a leader in my brother and my lives. So I think just that alone has made a really great impact, and that's enough. And that's it. And on a side note, if you have the time, you should watch Bernie Fletcher's last lecture. It's really good. And
Leaders
this is
of
my presentation.